Hey everybody. So if you're wondering why you just saw my shirt a second ago, well, that is because I'm about to talk about my review for Iron Man 3. So this movie, you guys, is directed by Shane Black. He dir- he did the screenplay for Lethal Weapon, the original, and he also here. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn on my dehumidifier. There we go. That way the sound's a little bit better here. Um, and So basically, like I said, Shane Black did the screenplay for Lethal Weapon. He um, he was one of the actors in Predator, and he was the director of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was one of the first films that Robert Downey Jr. did right after he got out of rehab. So in some ways, him and Robert Downey Jr. were importantly connected with each other over the past few years. So at first it kind of just felt right that Shane Black would direct such a sequel. John Favreau, I guess, didn't return as a director because he wanted to pursue Magic Kingdom for Disney, which is, I think, still a film in development. I don't think it's been released yet. Um, but anyway, guys, for Iron Man 3, we're introduced to a event that happened early on in Tony Stark's life where it was in 1999 where a guy pitched the something called an extremis virus to him. And at first, Tony Stark really wasn't interested in it. He just kind of blew this guy off. He's played by Guy Pearce, and like I said, his name is Aldrich Killen, I think his name was. Um, so the film takes place in present day again, and basically Tony Stark encounters that event kind of bites him in the butt in the sense that this extremist virus has been developed over the years. Aldrich Killen has perfected it. He's gotten human subjects for it on his own. Um, I think he called the company AIM. I'm not sure though. Yeah, I think it was called AIM. And so he has human subjects for it. There's actually people out in the world who do have the extremist virus in their body. Um, and it eventually does hurt Tony Stark. It kind of it's all over the place, and everybody has it. Um, and it has like a very harmful body heat side effects to this virus. And while all this is going on, a character named the Mandarin, who's kind of like an active terrorist. Yeah, he's like a terrorist who makes it like these videos, kind of like Osama bin Laden did. He's kind of in the spirit of the terrorists from Iron Man 1, for those who remember those characters. He's kind of like the Osama bin Laden figure of that. And he makes these U.S. bomb threats to the president and to all these people. And basically, he has succeeded with all these bombings. And but they're without me spoiling anything, because I'm going to try to keep this review as spoiler free as possible. Um, these bombings aren't really bombings. They look like bombings. They play out like a bombing, but they're not really bombings, and you'll find that out as you watch the film. And but it is connected to the extremist virus that I was talking about earlier. Um, So as the film progresses, guys, Mandarin seems to be succeeding. Tony Stark is quote unquote returning to the cave again. He has to work on a new suit of armor that he's upgraded the Iron Man suit. He now has multiple versions of the Iron Man suit, and I think this was either Mark 42 or Mark 43. So yeah, he's made quite a few suits, and this is the one that he consistently uses for himself. Um, what's unique about this suit for this one specifically is he can make it attach it to himself at any time he wants. So if he needs the hand, he just thinks about it, and the suit of armor attaches to his hand and to the rest of his body if he wants it. Um, so this huge terrorist attack actually happens to Tony Stark next. That's one of the Mandarin's next moves. And like I said, that brings Tony Stark back to the cave, quote unquote. And Tony Stark must figure out a way to stop the Mandarin, stop the extremist virus, which he later encounters. He's trying to rebuild the suit and kind of rebuild himself in a way. Um, and so basically, it's Tony Stark trying to stop once again two more villains who are involved with science and terrorism in some way. So I enjoyed Iron Man 3, you guys. I personally felt that Iron Man 1 and 2, yes, 2, I know a lot of people didn't like that one, I felt both 1 and 2 were better films overall. I did really enjoy this film. This definitely is a very well done film. Um, Definitely a great way to start the summer blockbuster season for sure. But like I said, I just really did not feel as fun or as involving as the first two films did. I personally think John Favreau's vision of Iron Man is just so much more interesting than Shane Black's was. Shane Black's vision of Iron Man seems a lot darker. It seems like there's more humor in it. That's not a bad thing, but it's almost like a different kind of humor in some ways. Um, so for positives and negatives, you guys, um, I thought Guy Pearce and Ben Kingsley, their villainous roles in this film were very good. Uh, I would even go so far as say as I think their villainous performances were even better than Mickey Rourke's and Sam Rockwell's were in the second film, though not quite the level of Jeff Bridges' Obadiah Stane role from the first film. Once again, Robert Downey Jr. brings a terrific performance to the film. Definitely adds more light and magic to this Iron Man universe. So very good job on his part. Great action scenes in this film. If you're looking for great action scenes, this film definitely has it. Whether it is Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit or just Tony Stark. Um, I thought they incorporated the War Machine slash Iron Patriot into this story a little bit better than the second film did. They do talk a little bit about why War Machine was called War Machine and why he switches over. And don't worry, this is shown in the trailer and everything. Why they switched it over to the Iron Patriot. Why the color of his suit is different that matches more so the American spirit, the Iron Patriot. Um, I won't say who. There is a significant Iron Man character from the comics, significantly speaking. Um, in the film, it's not directly said that though. So if you've read the comics, if you know kind of all the characters that did have an iron suit at some point in the Iron Man comics, it is kind of briefly shown and briefly in action in one scene. I'm going to leave it there though. Um, the 1999 prologue was fun. We did get to see a younger Tony Stark. We got to see a younger Maya Hansen, played by Rebecca Hall in this, who's kind of the significant biologist that appears throughout the film and has significance to Aldrich Killian or Aldrich Killen or whatever they called him. There were a ton of references to parts 1 and 2 in here, and I really thought that worked very well. There was also a lot of references to the Avengers, also, so that was kind of a unique way to make this film feel like it's a part of this long going series. Um, the film's fun to watch. You'll definitely never feel bored with this film. There's always something going on that's fun to watch in this film. The new iron suits in this film were a lot of fun. Specifically, the Iron Army or the Iron Legion that some series called it. That's shown through at the end of the film. A lot of fun with that. And like I said, there was just a ton of really fun references to the Avengers in this film. For negatives, you guys, some of the plot twists in this film really weren't very good. There is one specifically with a specific big character in this film that really was a bad twist. It's definitely a make it or break it twist for this film. Um, this film definitely has a more like a B-list secret agent approach, and to me, it almost feels a little bit too different. It does feel a little bit out of place for an Iron Man movie. So some may like it. I personally wanted more of an actual Iron Man movie. But if you like B-list secret agent films, you might like this new approach that's done for, I would say, a good 40 minutes of the movie. Um, the film has a tendency to nod to the source material, but it doesn't really adapt it. And what I mean by that is, like Iron Patriot is in the film, but it's not the Iron Patriot that you remember from the comics. Um, Mandarin's in the film, but it's not the Mandarin that you remember from the comics. It's a different. It's a very different kind of Mandarin. And though I know they have to make changes, like like the Dark Knight and all that other stuff, that worked perfectly. But I really think that the film makes itself so different from the source material to the point where it's not even the source material isn't even relevant anymore to the movie. Um, there's a character in this film that definitely reminded me of Yinsen from the first Iron Man film. He's a much younger character than Yinsen was. Won't get into too much detail because it might potentially ruin a plot point for some. Um, But when you watch the film, you'll definitely notice a relationship that's similar to Tony Stark and Yinsen from the first film, with the whole, Tony Stark returns to the cave kind of feeling. Um, the end credits scene slash joke. Not going to get into detail what that is because, like I said, some people probably haven't seen this film yet. Um, I really think the end credit scene was a missed opportunity with this film. I think they definitely could have introduced the Guardians of the Galaxy or something for Captain America 2 or for Thor 2 or for Avengers 2. One thing they actually didn't show at all in this film, they said they were going to show it during Avengers. Um, they were going to reference or tell you more about Thanos and the guy shown at the end credit scene of Avengers. Um, and they didn't do it. They didn't do anything for Thanos in this movie, and I'm really disappointed that they did that. So once again, a huge missed opportunity for the end credit scene. I really wish they could have hinted towards something or something like that because what they did here, I really felt was just kind of worthless. Um, there was some occasional flat humor in this film. Just some scenes in this film where I don't know if it was just me being in a lame audience crowd for the movie, but there was just some things where like it's intended to be a joke and nobody was laughing at it, and not even myself was laughing at it. So I don't know if that's just a sign that some of the jokes in this film were really poorly written, or that I was in a really lame audience while I was watching the movie. For me personally, did think there was some humor that really was not as fun as the first two films or even Avengers. Um, yeah, there was some funny scenes in here, but there was just some scenes that really fell flat really badly. Um, and some things I felt didn't set up very well. Like for example, the Iron Army or the Iron Legion, as some people call it. Um, that scene was just forced into the film. There was no setup for it at all. And it's not really a spoiler because once again they showed that again in the trailer. But basically, what you saw in the trailer is basically all you see of the Iron Legion or the Iron Army, like I said. Um, just not enough setup for it. It just really felt like it was forced into the script. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of scenes in this film that really just do not set up at all. They just kind of happen just because the story wants it to happen. There is something at the end that really got me mad about what happened to Tony Stark and stuff. Really not too happy with that. So overall, guys, Iron Man 3, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It is a fun film. It is a great way to start off the summer blockbuster season. It's a very, it's definitely a film to go out and actually see in the theater. Don't know how good the 3D is. I saw a 2D showing of the film, so I can't really tell you there about how good the 3D is. Um, if you like Iron Man, you like Iron Man 2, you even like Avengers, definitely a film to go see. It's a lot of fun, but like I said, don't expect the first Iron Man. I didn't think it was that good. Didn't think it was as good as the Avengers or even Iron Man 2 for that matter. But it is a lot of fun. It's definitely not a film to miss. So if you like Iron Man, you like Marvel Comics, give the film a view, but don't go into it expecting too much things out of it.